Okay, everyone. How are you doing? How is your mind? How is your body? How is your conduct as of late? Are you taking some time and offering consideration to doing good deeds to make sure that your life is not just about yourself, but how you can use yourself to benefit others, to benefit the environment, to benefit beings? Are you taking some time to consider about the precepts, the 5 precepts, the 8 precepts? Are you taking some time to possibly listen to some Dharma talks or search out some Dharma teachers? I thought about this recently myself, and I could see that in a certain way, with the way that I think, the way that I act physically or act mentally, what I think about, what I say, what I do, I'm not flying off into space and experiencing peaceful tranquility and happiness and joy all the time. So it's kind of like there's a habit energy in me from very deep, very long ago, maybe from when I was a child, some trauma I experienced or some attention that I didn't get. And it's almost like I've got a club that I'm constantly hitting myself with. Well, I do have a big club here that I'm constantly hitting myself with, seeking pleasure, seeking to distract from the state of my body, the state of my mind, and seeking to avoid that suffering that is there, that unpleasantness. And talking about helping others or volunteering or serving or donating in some way, and the precepts and all of these intimidating, intelligent, almost exhausting Dharma teachers, it's like there's another club. And it's a club that I'm constantly reminding myself about. And it's this club that's also beating me, intimidating me, hitting me on the head. But it's a little bit opposite from this club. Because this club is saying, distract yourself, seek pleasure, avoid pain. And this club is saying, don't avoid anything. Don't seek anything. Face all the suffering. Face the body, face the mind, face everything right here and right now. So I was thinking about the emphasis of the teachings that are shared here. And how that relates to our meditation practice, because we can talk about Buddhism and meditation and enlightenment, and we can read the great sutras and treatises from great Dharma teachers of old, enlightened masters. We can be concerned with the path and the teachings and the precepts, and we can put it into practice to some degree or another. But are we really making a little bit of time to be in that state of natural meditation, to be in that state of natural reflection, And I notice for myself sometimes that actually making problems for myself and blowing my suffering out of proportion by the way that I act, by the way that I think, or by the way that the world is, the world can come along and give you a lot of suffering. There's a blessing in that heaviness of suffering, that intensity of fear, of worry, of restlessness, of anxiety, that says, hey, this needs to be faced. And the Dharma comes along and says, it can be faced and it can be transformed. So as some non-dual Zen masters or great teachers would say, the suffering is Nibbana. Nibbana is the suffering. The trap is freedom. Freedom is the trap. So how do we apply that? How do we sit down, lay down, and start to face this overwhelming experience of our lives? This overwhelming experience of the body, with all its pain, with all its pleasures, with all its tendencies and habit energies, and the same with the mind. I think what I try to emphasize here is that the mind is not our thoughts. The mind is not our perceptions and our views and perspectives and our formulaic way of understanding ourselves and the world. That's not the real mind. It's just like an appearance that we identify with. Like we get a ticket for a train of identifying with an appearance, and we follow that train to wherever it might take us. But here, this is our matter of stopping and seeing. And if life is just going well, we've got a lot of money, we've got a lot of comfortableness, we've got a lot of good circumstances and friendships. Shelley, could you light some of the incense? We don't have the alarm bell going off because we're not at a monastery. We're not with the Dharma teacher. It's not convenient the way that we live our lives to notice this alarm bell, like a fire alarm going off in the background that says there is suffering, that you won't be able to distract yourself forever, that you won't be able to experience pleasure forever, to avoid pain forever, that both of these sticks are going to slam down on you at any moment. Could be sickness, could be old age, could be death, could be karmic payback from past lives. Someone comes along and says, I gotcha. I know who you really are. And that person may not be a Buddha in the sense of them not considering about compassion and forgiveness and gentleness and kindness, but they are a Buddha in terms of hitting you with this stick that says there is suffering. And then, why is there suffering? Why does there have to be suffering? Wouldn't it be better if there were no suffering? Wouldn't that be more appropriate if we didn't have to suffer? We don't have to ask that question as someone who's experiencing the first noble truth of suffering, because it's an alarm. It's like trying to ask, where is that alarm coming from? It's blaring through your ears so loudly that you can't even think. And so in the same way, I've noticed, going deep into meditation, thoughts become irrelevant. You can't think your way through this navigation of unlocking the mind or being free from all of these desires and fears. So the Buddha said, the reason for suffering is craving. Pretty simple. What's craving? wanting something other than what is already right here and now. So are we willing to breathe with that? Are we willing to sit with that? Are we willing to look in the face of this alarm going off that says, hey, you're not enlightened. You're not a Buddha. You're not free from suffering. And not run away. Not run towards distracting ourselves. Embracing, facing, being with what already is in the body, in the mind, that our thoughts and our stories and our desires and fears cannot reach, cannot control. This willingness gives us a bridge or a road or a path to the subtlety of the mind and the subtlety of our capacity to deconstruct or to derail this habit energy of seeking, this habit energy of avoiding something, getting something other than what is right here, right now. We're trying to get rid of, trying to destroy what is right here, right now. So we don't need to think through it. We don't need some special method. Our life itself, our humanness itself is the special method. The breathing, the having a body, changing this mind from stories and complicated thinking into willingness to be with. And it's good and all that we consider ourselves to be thinkers or intellectuals or planners or managers or understanders, true to a lesser and larger extent from time to time. But in our meditation, we can't allow this mind of thinking to override our willingness to be with what is. And for you, for me, what is mostly about the body. What we think, how we think, the direction of our thinking is mostly related to how the body feels. If there's a sense of anxiousness, we want to avoid it. If there's a sense of pleasure, we want to pursue it. So then our natural meditation, not to give a technique necessarily, but in our stillness, is allowing the mind to come home to the body, to come home to this directness of experiencing. not to give it a name, but the breath. Who are you without your breath? And all these questions and all of our concern and all of our wondering, the monkey mind jumping from thought to thought, let the breath be the answer. Let the breath be the practice. Bring the mind home to the body and let the breathing be the compass. Exercise this willingness to face, to be with, to endure. With the breath that is already happening. Be a companion and a good friend to this breath that is already happening. And with each thought that arises and tries to get attention or tries to say, hey, this is an important thought, immediately flow into the breathing. From that thought directly into the flow of breathing. Not trying to change anything. Not trying to understand anything. Not trying to become enlightened or be a special person, a special meditator. Not even trying to meditate. And these blockages or sense of reluctancy or doesn't feel like, I'm really going into it naturally. Breathe with that. Transform that into the breathing. Don't be with what you had thought. Don't be with the judgment that you had had about that experience. Be with the breathing as it's taking place now. This eternal now, this beginningless now, this endless now, this nowless now. Notice the body. Notice where there's tension. Notice where the anxiety is. allow this process of breathing to be in a higher position than the thinking mind or the considering mind or the managing mind. This isn't about feeling good. It's not about feeling bad. It's our willingness to give in to this process of breathing, of being, that disregards good and bad. If it's good, it is good. If it's bad, it is bad. But that's not what this is about. Breathing. And if we do want to experience some of the very healing benefits from meditation, we have to get over that hump. We have to not be taken in and manipulated by that sense of, this doesn't taste like ice cream. This is hopeless. I don't even know what I'm doing. And having faith that our own nature, our deeper mind, knows how to heal, knows how to release and relax these trauma-informed reactionary coping mechanisms. But for that to take place, we have to be here. We have to be willing to give. Opposite to our usual ways of always, what can I get? What can I get out of this moment? What can I get out of this situation? What can I get out of this experience? How much can I give? Give to what? What are you supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Give to breathing. Give to being. Give to not allowing thought to override breathing and being with. those thoughts come up, those situations come up, transform that energy of that thing, that situation, that memory into the breathing, into the being with, into that willingness to embrace everything, everything that is right now, not just that thing, that idea, that story. Give irrelevance with the breathing. Give the release of fixating with the breathing. And we can feel the support and the encouragement of all our Dharma teachers and all our spiritual friends, our Sangha, right here, right now, practicing precisely the same thing together. That may be a doorway into some energy where you can feel a little bit more of that subtlety of breathing, that subtlety of being. It's so much richer and finer and fuller than thoughts. To go into that fineness. Every thought forgotten and forgiven, released, right in place. So we're not fighting with thoughts, we're not trying to get rid of any thoughts. We're returning to the happening of the breathing, the fineness of it, the relevancy of it. Closeness of it. It may be that deeper and deeper thoughts arise, seemingly. the breath. The breathing is deeper than any thought, deeper than we can even intellectually comprehend. This process of keeping ourselves alive. It's right at the tip of our nose. Right at the base of our bellies. So whatever thought arises, don't pursue it. Don't feed it. Don't try to get rid of it in any way. Don't judge it. Just allow the continuation of breathing to be a bridge out of identifying with those thoughts. Teaching the mind to flow with breathing. Not to pick and choose. Not to lift up or put down. No thought is more real. No thought is less real. Just like each and every breath is not the same, nor is it different. Don't allow any thoughts to make any tricks. Fear or excitement, irrelevant to thoughts. Like or dislike, pleasant or unpleasant, irrelevant to the breath. Breathing. The thinking kind of wants to be important, wants to be real, wants to be true. And if you fight with the thoughts, you're just creating that trueness, that duality of right and wrong. So instead, feed those thoughts, breathing. And as the subtlety and the richness of each and every millisecond of breathing, the sensations of breathing, so allow that breathing to become more and more fine, more and more rich, more and more subtle, more and more nourishing. So whatever it is inside the mind or in thinking that needs to be fed can have all the breathing it needs to relax, to release itself, to release the thought blockages. Our guided meditation is over now. We can continue meditating. or share our experience, ask a question. There was a very old monk who once said that the quality of your meditation comes from the consistency of meditation. So you can try a bit more often here and there without stressing yourself in any way. And then naturally there should be a deeper access to the fineness and the richness and the relaxedness of the meditation process, which is a very, very in-depth process. It can be quite difficult to not get distracted. That's why we concern ourselves with the precepts, friends. Why we concern ourselves with giving beyond the bounds of mine and I, so that you can loosen your load, so that you can relax your identity that's keeping you locked in this box of mine, of I. If we aren't working with 5 precepts, if we aren't working with 8 precepts, then yeah, meditation and just being with yourself is going to be horrible. It's very difficult. But it's very, very powerful. And the more suffering that you have, the more fuel, the more good reason, the more inspiration you will have to get along in this process. You can experience a big transformation, a big healing in just 30 minutes, in just an hour. What's happening when there's this anxiety and this worry and we really get ourselves tangled up is that there's something that's bubbling up, something that needs to be heard, something that needs to be processed, something that needs to be learnt from. There's a blockage, there's a tangle, there's a virus of sorts. And to develop the anti-venom or the serum for that virus, you gotta brace and endure and face as much as you can. And when we keep this, maybe not our consistency of meditation, we can try, we keep our consistency of concern with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, with the generosity, with the virtue, with the teachings. When we meditate like this, when we start to practice very sincerely, you get to have a kind of realization that it's not about the people who are here or who the teacher is or who the student is, but your whole life, everything is right here. Right now. The whole life that we consider ourselves to be in or responsible for is a bubble, and it's popping moment by moment. It's a dream, and it's a dream that only exists right now. Okay, any questions or sharing experience of your meditation? Oh, it's an interesting question. Why would it be so uncomfortable? Why would it be so undesirable to just sit and be with ourselves? Why are we almost constantly in a kind of rushing state to hear something, to see something, to smell something, to taste something? Well, that is the nature of the self, which is just seeking, habituated seeking. So our meditation is to stop that flow of being in and feeding habituated seeking, and to start going upstream. Where is this seeking coming from? Where is this suffering coming from? Where is this thought coming from? But this is not done intellectually. It's a heart, mind, body process of turning the mind around to look at itself. And as we said at the beginning, this mind is not thoughts. Mind does not operate on words and phrases. This mind does not rely upon letters. So we have to put this ego on its head. We have to put it at the tips of its toes. We have to put it at the edge. Not be controlled by this ego, by these thoughts, by these stories. Neither good nor bad. Okay. We'll finish with a prayer. You can repeat after me, if you like. May I be free from fear. May I be free from worry. May I be free from suffering. May I encounter no obstacles. May I overcome all boundaries. May I be free from all suffering. May you be free from all suffering. May all beings be free from all suffering. May all beings be free from all suffering. May all beings everywhere be free from all suffering and quickly attain enlightenment. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, dear friends, dear Sangha, thank you for joining in this horizontal practice. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you'd like to support more live streams and activities like this in the future, please don't be shy to leave a like, to leave a comment, to share, and I hope that we'll have a chance to practice together again very, very, very soon.